Barricaid is an implant that essentially closes off the annulus fibrosus. So when you look at the architecture of a disc, you have two components. You have an inner nucleus pulposus, that's the shock absorber, and you have the outer annular fibrosis, the outer ring that holds the disc together. The outer annulus is usually made of collagen fibers. When someone has a disc injury, what you typically see is a disruption in that outer ring, the annulus fibrosis, and then the inner nuclear material actually spills out and compresses the nerve and also inflames the nerve. So in those situations, the goal of surgery is just to decompress the nerve, right? So we're going in, we're shaving a little bone in the back of the nerve root, we're working around the nerve root and removing the fragment of disc material that's pushing into the nerve root. Classically, we would leave things as is and close. However, there have been some innovations that allow us to close up that ring. And there are a variety of different annular closure devices that have been put out into the market. I like the Barricaid implant the most by virtue of its design and the data. So it's designed with a titanium anchor that embeds into the bone, connected to a mesh that fills the disc space. So it's a much more sturdy implant in comparison to prior designs where you might use a suture or other softer ways to close that opening in the disc. Either way, the goal of all of these devices is to close up the hole or defect in the annulus fibrosis. And by doing that, you can accomplish several goals. One is primarily prevent reherniation. There's a risk of reherniation. It can be 10 to 15%. And it can be so frustrating. You do a discectomy, patient does better, they get back to their lifestyle, and they're back a year later needing another operation. Certainly for patients who are young, active, have a taller disc space, those are the patients that are a bit more at risk of having a reherniation. But the issues with that is that those patients develop more disc space collapse and actually can be susceptible to fusion. You look at someone like Tiger Woods, the golfer, he actually had 3 discectomies and essentially got the bone on bone. He needed a fusion. Now that saved his career. He was able to win the Masters afterwards. But those are the type of operations that we try to avoid by introducing an annular closure device like Barricaid.